Alright, so as you know, me and some of the Spartans have been working on changing a lot of the enemy behavior so they're nice and fresh and having their, AIs make sense to go along with the new art style that we're doing. And to kick it all off, I'm going to explain all the new AIs in a gross detail while dodging their bullets at the same time. So over here, this big shielded thing, you might remember this as being the Entra Preserver. It is now known as the Blue Shielder. What its behavior is that it finds a random spot on the screen and will then go to that spot just to kind of vibe and just occasionally shoot out a bunch of slightly homing projectiles at you. It's meant to be somewhat like a turret, one of our first, and to also teach the player about shields and homing. As you see, its projectiles aren't very strong, but regardless, I believe it drives that effect pretty well. Next up, we'll do the Heiress Fighter, which is now going to be known as the Red Fighter. All these names, by the way, are just temporary while we figure out what the hell is going on, like with lore and stuff. Uh, its behavior is just about the same. So, next up is going to be the Heiress Fighter, which is now known as the Orange Fighter. Its behavior has also been changed a little bit just to make it more fluid and more like visually pleasing. Next up, we are going to have I forgot what I called this guy before. It was the Pink Rammer. Uh, it's now known as the Pink Rammer. So what it's going to do is fly around to you, and if you are close enough in its range, it'll do some cool flare, line, and dash at you. The special thing about this unit is that it has a weak spot, which is its core. So if you just try and damage this front bit, it's going to do half as much damage, where if you try and damage the core, it's going to do double. Next up, we have the Cryora Eye, which is now going to be known as the Cyan Orbiter. What that does is it will find a random position on the screen, go to that position, while also trying to dodge you and the midpoint, just to give it a little bit more visual flair. Then it will also occasionally stop to fire at you, and the projectile has now lost its homing in return for more damage, but a lower speed. It's supposed to be a bit more forgiving than the last design, since this is, this being the Blue Shielder being what's going to be introducing homing. So, this is right here, the AI, which is totally broken right now, but I'm sure it worked for the start bits. I just have to mess with its angular drag, and that should be good. But what that does is it will, it's pretty much the same behavior as the Chamber Drone Alpha. This is the Chamber Drone Alpha. It is also now known as the Green Fighter. So I'm not going to get into detail on how that AI works, because there's just so much to it, even though right now it's just running in circles. I forgot to make a cool explosion for that. But here is what is going to be replacing the Entra Guardian. It is now known as the Straton Defender. As you see, it has 4 shield segments. The shield segments, which will try and attack you with a wave. And then in the middle, there is going to be a turret. This turret will continuously fire at you, kind of just being a pain in the ass. And I think that will do it for now.